reviews everybody. Blitz doesn't travel that much, but what he does have, number 2 in Connecticut, top 5 in New England, and there's some personal history between these two. They don't talk a ton, but they are friends. Peeb has VOD reviewed and given Blitz advice before, but also Blitz had some personal tragedy with his house caught fire, and you know who raised a bunch of money for him? Peabnut. So positive, negative, this is personal. These two friends are going back and forth to figure out which robot warrior can come out on top.
Yep. All right, so Mega Man, a character that needs no introduction. He's doing things here, projectile things. It's always fun to see. There's some other set going on, but I'm not going to talk about that because right now we're seeing some excellent Mega Man play. The Leaf Shield coming out from BlitzLuigy. I've seen that he does a lot more Leaf Shield than other Mega Man, but Peabnut just started doing it, so you know what? All right.
The best way to describe Blitz's playstyle is like a gnat. He just wants to move around you, get really tricky with this defensive movement, and find these leaf shields, find these pellets, just do a whole bunch of chip damage never until he finds an opening to really press stage control. Well, it's a great counter to other Mega Man playstyles where, you know, he's not going to hit the confirms like a player like Peeb will, like with a bunch of tricky stuff, but he's going to make up for it by just being so much harder to hit defensively. And we're seeing it here as Peeb can't find a solid advantage state, which is something he's known for creating out of thin air.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You know, this character has some really, really good tools both in the mid-range and in close range, right? And both of them know what this character is capable of. Both of them have very well-practiced confirms. These bread and butters are pretty much set in stone for them now. And right now, it's just a tale of like who can actually outspace, who knows the timings better than the other, and who knows the habits, right? It's like it's not about the character anymore. It's now about how do you adapt to what you know your opponent likes and wants to favor.
And it's also how creative can you get, right? When you have the exact same tools, but also you're a toolkit character like Mega Man, someone who's trying to kind of counter-zone other zoners, and has all these items, these multi-hits with cancels. It's who has more tricks, right? Who can be think more outside the box with what they're trying to pull over on you, and call out their opponent who knows all the same setups, knows all the same punishes, who can show the other one something they've never seen before.
That's true. And right now, Peeb just trying to catch some of these nice back airs, just trying to get any of these, nice out of shield options to connect. But I mean, it's basically a Swiss Army knife because it really can do so much in many situations. And now BlitzLuigy knowing that he can opt for a couple of the timing differences between the fair and the fair. I like that he's interchanging them to make sure that he's able to consistently mix up Peabnut and force those shield drops at the right time. But Peabnut seems to be taking stage control regardless, doing very well.
Blitz's parry there on point to find a way back. Peeb has been able to really kind of catch Blitz out with some very tricky pellet delays, but gonna trade a Crash Bomber for an F Smash, not what you want. Peeb trying to find the combo off the Angel Plat, but just not quite finding its mark, and it's gonna allow it to still be Blitz's turn, but that's an up tilt that's gonna close it out, and just like that, Blitz down a full stock, back against the wall in this game one. And if he wants to overcome the father of his character, then, I mean, he's got to make some fast adjustments.
Oh, yeah, we see the handoff, so he goes right back in to try to create some more pressure for Peeb on ledge. Obviously, Peeb's been doing a great job of just, like, forcing out these options. He knows that he can tell when Blitz wants to go for some of his options, like Leaf Shield. That's been a very vulnerable point for him, and Peeb is actually punishing that super hard.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of those, moments where Blitz wants to jump in and falling Leaf Shield at you that Peeb is calling out with these back airs. Right? And we're seeing a lot more falling back air from Peabnut, where it's a lot more rising back air from Blitz. And that's because those falling back airs combo into Metal Blade, they combo into rising back air if that's what you truly do want. But because Blitz hasn't even shown the falling one, Peeb is able to kind of call out and react to this timing time and time again. And it's making it hard for Blitz to actually find as many scrap opportunities as he wants, but this is a good one. Beautiful waveland there.
Yep, and still able to keep up the pressure with the up airs as well. That's why we want to get that positioning and reset yourself so that you can go into a quick move like that, create more pressure, and force Peabnut back out over ledge. He wants to land in the center stage, but he's just not able to because of this great aggression. And right now it's just Metal Blade for Metal Blade. They're trying to trade out some of these projectiles. I like the approach though. BlitzLuigy knows when to go in for these aggressive approaches. He recognizes when P wants to take a step back and create some distance, but he doesn't let that happen.
No, I mean, this is Blitz's game phase, my friend, but one of the things here is when Blitz starts moving like this, you better get scared. He was down in Game 5 just Monday against Ling, last stock, down over 100%, and suddenly he just didn't get hit, right? That Metal Blade, the first hit Peeb has landed in a minute straight. These pellets gonna give him his turn, put a stop to the unstoppable momentum train that Blitz had. But do you see, like, the micro-spacing, the stutter steps in Blitz's movement? Peeb hasn't been able to find any consistent hit that doesn't linger, right? That doesn't have this huge hitbox. It's been the F smash, the back air, and maybe just a stray pellet here or there. He was able to put a stop to the comeback Blitz was mounting, but if I'm Peeb, and I know this character as well as I do, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous going into game 2 because Blitz figured it out at the end of that game, and you could tell was so locked in. If he keeps his composure, I think we have quite a long set in ahead of us.
I mean, it's interesting. I know that last sequence, it ended up with Blitz trying to stick the Crash Bomber, try to get some pressure, try to say, okay, you have to be stuck in shield at this moment. But, I mean, Peabnut said, no, you're a kill percent. I actually could just catch your high recovery that I know is coming out with the back air and just make it so that the Crash Bomber is never going to come out. It's no problem. So, I mean, that's just a precision thing, but it's also just like a... I'm not afraid to do stuff. Like, I'm not afraid to press buttons. Even if you think you're pressuring me with something that is supposed to be scary, it doesn't matter. I know my win con, and that's the thing. Peabnut's win con has been the same this entire time.
And Peeb too, right, knowing the limits of this character so well that he's never going to get something pulled over on him, right? Over, hey, you don't know that I can't threaten this angle from this position. And which is kind of what Blitz was trying to do with that high recovery. Now going into game 2, opting for Calo switch, the big open space is with these high side plots is really beneficial to Blitz's playstyle of, I want to move, I want to stay away from you, right? I want to just play right outside your effective range, dance back in, just swat you with some chip damage, and then explode into a corner situation into an edge guard.
Well, Leaf Shield is also very, very good on this stage because there's no platforms in the middle. There's not really any way for you to go except for jumping over it. And of course, there's no platforms for you to land on, so you have to double jump or, use another resource to try to get over whatever else the person is throwing right behind that Leaf Shield. So it's always that difficulty, but I mean, when I find in like stage picks for a Ditto, it's always about the comfort picks.
Yeah, no, and CT in general, right, very comfortable on this stage. Our top 2 players, historically, Light and Ling, love this stage and will take you there all the time, so you have to be ready for it. And as a result, a lot of the rest of the scene is too Blitz showing that comfort, right, knowing when he can take a hit, take an F smash even, and just keep on living because Mega Man's heavy, this stage is big, and you might be able to find a couple extra tricks left just by abusing those facts alone.
Right, and I love Peabnut's use of like Z-Drop Metal Blade. It's been very, very good in the last 45 seconds particularly. He's really knowing how to get some of this stuff, but it is actually Blitz that takes the first stock. And this is just a nice play around the stuff that Peabnut has been going for. Maybe a little bit too reliant on some of the same options.
And the back air from Peeb gonna keep it close. That multi-hit just fighting through any and all resistance, right? This man, like a Terminator, you might think it, he will be back air and he will close it on out. Nerf. These 2 players are just, like, even there, right? Okay, you're gonna fall in Leaf Shield, I'm gonna fall in Leaf Shield. It often feels like whoever pushes a button first is the one losing the interaction.
Right. And right now, it's just a quick reset, both of them trying to gain any sort of edge. Obviously, Blitz has the lead, knows that Peabnut has to do the approaching here. And that's why you're able to still kind of catch him in those mid-range approaches where you know you can challenge him with some of the same options, or even the ones that are going to outspace the simple ones that Peabnut is going.
And Blitz jumped in Tornado, which normally is a death sentence, but knew because of how high the top blast zone of Kalos is, that he could buffer an air dodge down afterwards and be completely fine. Right? That is absolute mastery of the character. that you aren't going to see almost anyone else do because they're conditioned to know it's a death sentence, right? These pellets now from Blitz just stuffing out the Leaf Shield, giving him that extra room to breathe as he cements a very comfortable percent lead here, but hey, percent's just that. It's percent. It can disappear in an instant, and if you're Blitz, you want to lock down this stock fast.
Right, but that's why Blitz has still been going for those lemons, right? Not only to defeat those Leaf Shield attempts, but also just to rack on more damage, right? You want to keep it. I might be taking a couple lemons, but at least I'm going to pay the same in kind. And right now, Peebs is just kind of trailing. It does not seem like he's figured out the exact answer for how to close the gap effectively, and just because Blitz is playing this keep-away game so well.
What an interesting adjustment there from Peeb, right? Throwing out this double forward air. Something that we've seen be the big differential in their two playstyles is that Peeb's leaning more on back air, Blitz is leaning more on forward air. He loses the stock lead. What does he do? He immediately starts forward airing Blitz with the DI in, able to find the tech on reaction. In Connecticut, you have to hit those, because if you don't,
my God,
Light and Ling are gonna hit you. Yeah, the crash
the evasion. How did you get away from that?
This is what happens when you have to play Light.
It looked like they should have hit.
Nerf. This is what happens when you have to play Light, Ling, Pelka, Hawk, Nelvin week after week for years. Your tech skill, your ability to hit those defenses, your evasion becomes otherworldly, because if you don't get to play the game at all.
I mean, Peabnut literally was like, you can't delay more than this, and then he delayed more than that, and it seemed like you can. Mega Man is the character that just lives, pitches a tent off stage, and is able to do all this stuff with the Crash Bomber explosion. It's almost like a young Link bomb to reset. It's just like a lot of the same shades of stuff that we've seen in very strong characters in this game, exhibited here by Mega Man, who's many considered like a low-high tier.
I would argue that Peeb is kind of the premier offensive Mega Man, right? He's the one who's gonna be creative and neutral, hit you with some crazy setups, kill you at absurd percents off things you didn't even know you could get hit by. But Blitz is the one who's really shows that its character's movement potential, the defense, his ability to stay alive and just get out of situations you didn't know possible. Such a situation. And it means that percents don't really matter, because Blitz isn't gonna, Blitz is gonna live really long and be hard to hit, but if Peeb gets that hit, right, he can just explode onto you. The question is offense or defense gonna win the championship here?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you said that percents sometimes don't matter, especially when you have a minute and a half of the clock left. Percents sometimes do matter at the very end, but up until that point, not so much. You got to make sure that, Blitz is starting to lose ground, but Peabnut is still in a position where he has to make a play here. He's looking for an edge guard, cannot connect. That air dodge going to avoid the back air as well, and there's a couple juggling of the Metal Blade, just trying to make Peeb think that he might be going for something different.
Nerf Blitz is starting to play a little bit nervous here. You can see it on his face. As that animation, the movement comes up, he needs to keep his composure. A player like Peeb is not going to let you get away with it if you start second guessing yourself. Blitz wants this so bad. I've rarely seen him talk about wanting a win more than the way before top 32 we were talking. He was like, I want this Peeb win. But if he wants that win, he's got to find this game. If he goes down, I don't see him making that reverse 3-0, and if he wants it, he has to be confident in himself. He has let the percent lead slip away, but again, all that matters is who takes that stock.
Peeb's still looking for one of these back airs, one of these edge guards, cannot get any sort of two-frame.
Wait, is Blitz playing for a timeout?
We are close to a timeout.
There's a 30% difference. He's running away, the stall's off ledge, he's been stalling everything to the maximum. Only 11%, well, he certainly can't be now.
10 seconds.
How did he find his way back there? The absolute limit. And the back air gonna do it with 6 seconds left. Blitz pushing that to the limit. People talk about New England as an aggressive region because they think of Mars being flashy and they think of Light having an insane Punisher game. We're all campy as hell. Right? Light is gonna be impossible to hit until he bursts onto you. Same with Mars. We've got Ling is famous for being defensive. Pelka, Sharp. We don't care. Well, Sharp's the one aggressive one for real. But they don't care. They will play you to the clock. They will play you they will force you to find the openings and force your offense to actually put them in a checkmate situation. Because the level of talent and the level of consistency, right? Connecticut and a lot of New England's top players, the number one players in Connecticut and Massachusetts right now, Light or Ling and Pelka, both ball veterans, right? Since 2008. You've had consistent top level success in the region that forces you to be so evasive to even compete.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Buckle up. It's going to be a long set.
Yes, sir. I mean, hey, right? We're, what, 15, 20 minutes into this one, and we're through 2 games?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. We got Small Battlefield as the pick coming out. It's going to be a smaller version of Kalos, a little bit less stage, less of a no man's land in the middle of the stage, trying to get some of the stuff here. And we've already got Peabnut trying to swing, but at a deficit yet again. And as soon as you see that, you know that it's going to be a lot more of the same. Peabnut struggling to find a way to approach someone who is camping him out with his own tools.
And the fascinating decision here is that you see Peeb's counter picks are these small stages, right? He wants to get in, he wants to scrap with you. Blitz wants all the room in the world to just dance away from you, play outside that effective range, and just keep running away. Hey, it is their stage counter picks belie their playstyle to the extreme nerf, and right now it's just Blitz is willing to play it patient. He's forcing Peeb to show him sauce, show him mix-ups to actually make this happen, and somehow are surviving.
Nice.
Peeb is adjusting to the stalls that Blitz was finding so much mileage off of on Kalos.
Right, and I guess that stuff works once or twice, but even now, Peabnut is, looking for the precision that he needs. He's going to find it too. He's definitely going to be able to get these good edge guards, and now the tables have completely turned. Blitz now realizing that he's at a deficit. He has to do the approaching himself, but he doesn't really do that, so let's see what happens here.
And remember, this game for counterpick an advantage as well. Even if they keep trading games back and forth, sooner or later, Blitz does need to find a break here. He does need to win on one of these smaller stages if he wants to take the set. And while Blitz has looked good when he's had space to work with, when he's actually forced to scrap with Peabnut, he looks like he just doesn't know where to go.
Absolutely. Looking for a grab as well. I mean, it has been a lot of Leaf Shield to try to approach. That plus Metal Blade. Peabnut is now recognizing that he could just do the exact same thing. Like, play the campy version of Mega Man that Blitz was going for. And those punishable up tilts are hopefully going to lead to a little bit more of a stronger punish, but Peabnut's still in a good spot.
And Peeb hasn't even attempted to contest those air dotted downs after the tornado.
Right.
Something he's definitely taken note of, right? Peeb famously aware as a player, and catching up Blitz with the BlitzLuigy special. Blitz loves that up smash in those situations more than anyone else, but that's not Peeb turning it against him. He has seen the Blitz VODs, and he wanted a taste of his own medicine to be the ultimate mix-up, right? That feather in his cap in this set.
I guess so. Still, he's going to get caught by one of those close range. He's looking for an F smash or something like that, but just caught by the same thing that he'd been going for, approaching Leaf Shield. This time, he is going to turn the tide, and Peabnut getting caught with one of those backers off stage, this time on the receiving end. It's in a position where I'm not worried, right?
Yeah, if you're Peeb, you aren't that concerned yet because Blitz isn't moving the way he was last game. But he is a lot more linear, he's a lot slower in his movement, the stutter steps aren't quite there, right? He's committing a lot harder to the options he's picking, and when he does turn around, you see the slight hesitation. It feels like he's almost running slightly longer than he means to as he's trying to make these decisions. And when that processing speed slows down for him, that's where Peeb is pouncing.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I know that Blitz had forced Peabnut to do some unconventional stuff in Game 2, right, which is rather early, like double fair that you were mentioning. It's that kind of stuff that you usually expect in, like, a later conditioning set. Oh, okay, it's maybe Game 4, Game 5. Peabnut had already been going for some of those more desperate plays, and now he's in a position where he can continue to rest on his laurels. But Blitz, I want to see what he pulls out of the tank. What kind of mix-ups can he bring to the table that will get in and force Peabnut to think twice?
And honestly, again, we saw the same situation in Game 1 where Blitz was down a large amount of percent, but was able to somehow find the stock, bring it to a last stock situation. And he does this all the time. He somehow just pulls out miracle stocks left, right, and center, and it's never too soon to, you never want to count this man out. But now it's just Peeb, right, starting to get the parries on, start to force Blitz to go away from some of his call-out options like that F smash. And if you're Blitz, I mean, this is where if you can't take the stock, you might start to get in your own head the rest of the set.
That's true, and now we'll have to see. Okay, an up tilt for an up tilt, both trying to catch the DP, but not going to get it. And that's a really nice lead, and actually
wall jump into the wasteland,
the up smash,
and
sick.
Up smash, bro. The movement from BlitzLuigy, right? Like, this is why I always say, Yeah, you can see every Mega Man in the world. You've never seen a Mega Man move until you watch BlitzLuigy.
Very interesting stuff. I mean, still, but
there
Peabnut
it is.
inevitable. Not going to look for anything else except for the fair, and that's going to be a nice close to the third game. And this time, Peabnut breaks away 2-1.
Nerf, if you watch what button Blitz pressed when Nerf came in with that forward air, it was that downward air dodge. We talked about it earlier. Blitz had been doing it once, twice. Peab was like, I'm gonna let it go. And so it conditioned Blitz to do it again. When it matters most, with a game on the line, you know Luigi has that momentum at his back. Well,
you let it slide until you make it hurt. And all of a
Yes,
sudden,
sir.
we're just going to see what happens. Town and City is the stage counterpick for game number 4. I'm not sure. I mean, long stage theoretically plays well for Blitz's playstyle, but Peabnut has shown that he's got this horizontal pressure that makes me think that it almost doesn't even matter.
And you know what's hilarious too? If you really think about it, right? Mega Man wants to go. Blitz is taking you to town. He's taking you to Kalos. He's taking you to all of Ling's favorite stages, right? Like these are huge Peach stages, very good Peach stages where we see Connecticut players end up a lot from time to time, and Blitz is going here because of this movement in space that you mentioned, but also these side blast zones that are going to allow him to actually find the edge guards when he does want to explode much easier. He wants to have that space again to rely on his movement, and it's Peeb's challenge to try and lock him down, not let him get away.
It's almost like you're saying that Town and City is good for cheesers. That's crazy.
No, it's good for edge guarders.
It's also good for edge guarders.
Or if you want to play defensive neutral. Sure. Campers.
I guess so. Even worse. But right now, we'll have to see. I mean, Blitz keeping a slight deficit, but has stage control, or at least was holding on to it for a while. Can he get some of these fading fares that I'm to see? But it doesn't even matter. Peabnut gets a clutch forward smash, and that sets up for an offstage situation. An underutilized down smash is the attempted finisher here.
Yeah, that down smash, right? That fire extends slightly below the ledge, so trying to get Blitz on the stall. But Blitz timing the air dodge perfectly, and now just for the moment at least able to trade, but being closer to stage. Those Hadouken only going to take one stock, and all we need to see, like, Blitz has the ability, right? Like, he had the right read there. It's just same brain cell, same character, same brain cell, and if you're Blitz, you have to stay confident here, because the second you start swinging, that's where Peeb is just never going to ever let you reset.
Makes sense. And this is going to be the challenge here. Peabnut kind of forced back to the ledge, and Blitz is starting to bear down, looking for this first stock. Has to do something here. It's going to be the fair, and of course, Peabnut, he's just running out of options, especially with the platforms leaving at that crucial moment. It really just meant that he had nowhere to run.
And Nerf, Blitz's fairs, as we see 3 more, right, for good measure, when he's been hitting them, he's been winning. And when he hasn't been hitting them, I mean, as simply as that, is he's been losing, and it works to the point as the tornado carries you off the top. Blitz going a little too high, making like Icarus and flying too close to the sun. But what's crazy is Blitz's forward airs have worked so well that Peeb has started throwing out more forward airs. He's literally like, that matchup counterplay is so good that I'm actually going to adapt it mid-set.
I mean, it's true. They both have foregoed back air for forward air in most of these crucial situations throughout the set. And right now, this is where it's starting to culminate, right? Like, they're looking for a couple back airs here, but even then, it's like you're shielding it out, not going to worry about it. It's just not getting either of them really the leverage that they're looking for. So, yeah, we are going to see some goofy kills, but, I mean, Peabnut's still within the lead, and that platform actually taking you right back to danger, I guess?
And I was going to say, you can see Blitz didn't expect the platform to come in, but reacted so quickly. To find the dash dance mix-up to keep the pressure going. And as these two players just jump in, leaf shield on shield, trying to find pressure, but hey, what can't touch you can't hurt you, and leaf shield never gonna poke.
Peabnut starting to get more and more extra credit. The quick, short range forward smash parry, and the lemons to deal with all of the attempted aggression, right? Like, you see stage control in the hands of Blitz, but he's not able to really maintain right now. He might have overtaken too far. Can you get actually punished for this?
That leaf shield from Peeb was so smart. Art, right? Just finding the intercept, getting the reset on the situation, not able to stick it out, but with just such a good directional air dodge. Mega Man, time and time again, this set has been able to find his way back to stage. Now the Crash Bombers, they've traded them. back and forth, but at the end of the day, the hot potato is in BlitzLuigy's favor. Nerf, he's had a couple of these scenarios where he's forced the last stock situation down 100%. Can he finally close one out, or is Peep going to lock the setup here?
I mean, it's hard to say. On Town and City, he had to have gone to this stage for a reason. Peabnut actually going a little bit too ham in the paint, looking for one of those big setups with a Crash Bomber stuck to his forehead. Unfortunately, he's going to take a few percents of damage, but he's still maintaining this lead. You can see BlitzLuigy starting to get impatient, looking for as many of these setup options as possible. Can you go in from horizontal, from above? You've got to figure out what the answer is here.
And the Spring Dog coming out not once but twice, right? That mix-up, so terrifying, because if you Spring Dog and your opponent reads it, they just get under you with a tornado, kills you at any percent you want.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, gonna catch BlitzLuigy's landing, that high blast zone, gonna lock it out. But Blitz, before just getting caught in that one landing, had the momentum. He was finding his way back, right? When he is forced to play defensive from behind, when he has to continue to, like, chip away at you, that's where Blitz is at his strongest, which is so weird to say. It's like, okay, when he is trying to not, like, be defensive, but he's also behind, when his back is against the wall, right? Those situations, it's so good. And this is where we're seeing, right? They didn't commit to the tornado, but if they had, that early tornado would have closed it out, and their Blitz just getting caught throwing the leaf shield away.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is that you get pushed to the platform, going for that leaf shield. The clip started with Peabnut getting punished by getting hit by back air with like while he's going for a leaf shield, and it ended with the exact opposite.